Do you know how to soft drift? Is it just some buzzword you hear in MK8 discussions and you feel embarrassed to talk about it or ask because you worry that you don't know what you don't know? Maybe you main Biddy Buggy or you're a Scooty player and you use the combo because it feels like you just can't get some mini turbos with Wiggler. Well, I've got your back today, and it's time to explain it all and get you closer to actually understanding how this game's driving really works. Now, I know I said that this series would cover mainly track basics, so sorry about this, but this is a topic that is necessary to go over, and there aren't many dedicated tutorials out there with fully accurate information. In my course guides, there will be a few instances where I emphasize, one part of the track that I think is important, and sometimes you need the strategies that, we'll go over in this video to really be equipped to handle that section. So when I bring them up, I want you to know what I'm talking about. So at surface level, soft drifting is used to charge mini turbos faster in a game that adds a third MT boost in the form of ultra mini turbos. The stakes for this tech have never quite been so high, but there is quite a bit more to it than just this. To fully utilize these advanced techniques to your advantage, you've got to understand the why. Before getting into the details, I want to give a shout out to Vike for his drifting guide. It is a more extensive text version of a lot of what I'll be covering today, and the link to that is in the description, so go check that out. I highly encourage you to read it all, it's quite useful and may change the way that you think about the game. Final disclaimer, not all this information is 100% known, but I will tell you more than enough to get you started. And if you have any thoughts or theories, you know what to do. Hit the comments, help us out. If there's anything that you disagree with, let me know. Before we talk about soft drifting, we need to first talk about turning. And what a lot of people don't realize is that turning is bad, it's not good. So turning slows you down in Mario Kart 8, whether it's just on a straightaway, if it's in the air, or if it's in a drift. And if you want to maintain your maximum possible speed, you should just never turn. But of course, we have to turn, or else we're going to hit walls. So we're going to have to find a way to turn as little as possible. Our goal is to maximize the amount of time that we spend not turning. This is why players neutral hop when they start a drift, then turn at the last possible second. This is known as delay drifting, and it's something that you should definitely implement into your game. Another way to maximize your time spent not turning is to charge your mini turbos as quickly as possible, and this is where soft drifting becomes useful. If you aren't confident about soft drifting, you probably at least understand a little bit about it already. You probably have played this game and felt like you can crank out some mini turbos faster than others, and you've probably had some moments where they don't charge. As a Mario Kart DS kid, I like to, kind of cranking out my mini turbos, and what I mean by that is I mean moving my hand left and right, full left and full right turns. And by doing that, it kind of feels like your mini turbo charges quicker than if, just leave it alone. Another thing that I see people liking to do is holding outward on their drifts as well. This in a sense is kind of like the snaking, it's just you choose one direction to avoid hitting a wall most likely. So why does this feel faster? Well, you're in the zone. And what I mean by that is the zone that you now see on the screen. This chart will tell you where you want to be holding during your drifts if you want to charge your mini turbos quicker. Traditionally speaking, a lot of people kind of try to put an angle on, soft drifting. It's like, you just have to hold at this angle. But what we realize is that it is a little bit lenient in this game. 45 degrees doesn't really cut it in this game, but everything really next to it and below kind of does. So take a look at this graph and think, can I hold these directions while I'm turning? Because this will charge your mini turbos quicker. So this game has a counter. When you're drifting, your counter will increase. And based on your kart combination, you will have a number that once it's reached, it'll give you the next tier of mini turbo. While drifting in the shaded area, your counter will go up by 5 every frame. And when you're not in the shaded area, it'll go up by 2, which is significantly slower. So what this means, obviously, is that you want to be in this zone more often than you're not. So this is pretty much the main premise behind soft drifting. So it might be easy for you to think, well, I'm just going to use soft zones to drift now, I'll charge my mini turbos quicker, I'll be unstoppable. But this isn't quite ideal either. And this is because not every turn can really be taken optimally by just soft drifting only. For example, some turns are so long that you can kind of just get your desired mini turbo without much soft drifting anyway. Turns can just be long. And some turns are so wide that you kind of need to wiggle drift a little just to kind of stay on the road. In summary, driving quickly is a balancing act, between going as tight as possible while also, turning as little as possible, and that's often achieved through soft drifting. Of course, this isn't exactly easy, and at times it can be tricky for even some high-level players. You'll need to experiment with it until you get comfortable on your own and get to the point where you can really do it without thinking. So, how do I practice? Well, when I was trying to learn it, I went back into the IC section on Sherbet Land and tried to, drift in the wide open area and see how fast am I charging at certain angles, because everybody's going to have their own comfort area. With that being said, don't do this, because now that we have the booster pass, Paris provides the perfect place to do it at the very beginning of the course. So if you want to really practice, just do some loops and take however long you need. So if that's pretty much the premise. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'm sure me or some viewers that, know better than me will be willing to help you out. With this all being said, I hope you all enjoy the video. If you found this useful or helpful, a like or a sub is always appreciated. But until then, we'll see you when the actual course guides start beginning.